Hi everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm bringing a bombshell about the private lives of Yaman and Sarah Bluma. Because what's being said these days has completely blown up this couple's story. First came the rumor that Khan had unfollowed her on social media because she had been unfaithful to him. That already set the media on fire. But now, things are going up a level. People are talking about who this third person might be. And watch out, because it wouldn't be just any random stranger. The versions going around point to someone from high society, a businessman, an influential figure, or even someone very close to Khan's own circle. According to internal sources, this wouldn't be just gossip, but the real key to why the relationship ended. This alleged betrayal hits Sarah's image hard and fits with Khan's reaction of cutting ties on social media. In fact, people around him say there's relief. For them, if the infidelity is confirmed, it's clear that Khan acted reasonably and carries no blame for the breakup. Meanwhile, Khan stays silent. He doesn't enter the media war. He doesn't respond. He doesn't feed the scandal. And that silence is interpreted as a way of holding himself together calmly under pressure, trying to protect himself emotionally. Some analysts believe the relationship had been tense for a while because of Khan's intense professional life and the extremely high expectations placed on the couple. But what remains unknown is how much truth there is in this double life now attributed to Sarah, and just how close she was to the man she supposedly hid. The public is fully invested in this. Khan's fans react with anger and sadness, seeing him as a victim, and at the same time, they begin doubting again the sincerity with which Sarah publicly talked about love. The tabloids insist on the shadow of a third person as the direct cause of the ending. And the fact that everything exploded right after Khan unfollowed her makes people think he likely discovered something before or during the breakup. Right now, the media are desperate to know the name. Every clue is analyzed. Whether that lover was already known within Khan's or Sarah's circle, how many people knew, and how much of this rumor network is based on real witnesses. The tension is also felt around Sarah, where the issue is said to have already erupted and the list of suspects keeps growing, mixing celebrities and influential people. It's even said that the alleged infidelity wouldn't have affected only Khan, but might have dragged in other figures close to him, making the scandal even bigger. And there's another key detail. Khan is said to be distancing himself from part of his social circle as a kind of personal cleansing, cutting off what he considers toxic. This isolation is being read as a turning point in his life, protecting himself, rebuilding, and holding on to his strongest bonds, especially those he has in Italy, while Sarah's social and professional standing comes under huge pressure. In short, this is no longer just a famous breakup. It's a scandal involving betrayal, power, reputations at stake, and a third name that, once revealed, could trigger a domino effect in entertainment and high society. And while everyone watches every move, Khan's cold silence only raises the tension. If you want, as soon as more information appears, or there's a clear confirmation of who that third person is, we'll go through it here in detail. With all this whirlwind of comments about Demet Özdemir, I'm left with a bitter feeling. No matter what she does, there's always someone ready to turn her into the character of the moment. I'm tired of seeing her name used as fuel for theories that change every week, almost always with the same intention. Either portraying her as a calculating puppet master pulling strings in the shadows, or as the perfect culprit for any story surrounding Ken Yaman. And I don't buy any of those caricatures. What I see is a public woman being asked for absolute consistency in a world that hardly demands it from anyone else. One of the things that bothers me most is how easily people talk about her personal life as if it were a TV script. She went to work one day and never came back. She moved in with Ken. Everything was planned. Everything is fake. To me, all that sounds like people who need a closed plot to feel safe. Reality is rarely that tidy, and when I hear versions that are so perfectly rounded and designed to sound final, it feels more like heated fandom content than facts. In that narrative, Demet isn't a person. She's a wild card assigned whatever role suits the moment. I also find it unfair how her romantic history is used as a weapon. If there's talk of a peaceful divorce or a messy breakup, she's immediately placed at the center, as if she had to provide public explanations to validate her own past. And when delicate topics come in, dark accusations, family conflicts, or issues involving children, it turns my stomach. Not because I want to defend her blindly, but because it feels brutal to turn rumors of that magnitude into social media ammunition. If there's real pain in those things, it's not a spectacle. And if there isn't, it's even worse: smearing someone for sport. What I've also noticed is that Demet is judged by a bizarre moral standard. On one hand, people attack her, saying everything she does is vulgar, that her appearances have made her hated, as if a woman had to ask permission to exist publicly without being punished for her style or the way she presents herself. That judgment feels old and convenient to me. It doesn't criticize a concrete action. It punishes an attitude, a freedom. And the curious part is that when a male actor has the same exposure, they call it charisma. When she does, they call it provocation. That double standard irritates me. Then there's the eternal theory that everything is strategy. That if people talk about her now, it's so we'll see her and Can together again after some project, that the noise only serves to prepare the ground. I understand why that idea is tempting. It's easy to believe there's a masterboard where everything moves for marketing. But to me, it's a simplification that erases Demet as a professional, as if she had no career of her own, as if her value depended on returning, or not returning, to a famous pairing. And no, Demet has shown she can carry a project on her own, that she has an audience, that she has presence. Reducing her to half of a couple strips her of agency. Another thing that strikes me is how people discuss her life as if they knew more than she does. Some comments talk about custody, courts, who deserves what, without knowing what happens behind closed doors. To me, that crosses a line. You can have opinions about what you see, sure, but when you start using an intimate matter as proof of your theory, you're no longer giving an opinion. You're inventing a verdict. And Demet shouldn't have to live under the internet's courtroom for her life to be considered valid. At the core, what I perceive is much simpler and more human. Demet is trapped in the reflection of a story the public won't let go of. There are people who still look at her through Ken Yaman, as if her identity were frozen in that chapter. And every time she moves on, changes projects, partners, or direction, the public reacts as if she were ruining the ending they wrote in their heads. I find that sad, because it says more about other people's expectations than about her. So my conclusion is clear. I don't need to believe in big conspiracies to understand what's happening. I see an actress trying to live and work while being turned into the unwilling protagonist of a circus of versions. I see a woman who's expected to be pure, silent, or constantly justifying herself and who keeps moving forward anyway. And that's why, when I hear that everything is fake, everything is a plan, everything is her fault, all I think is that people aren't looking at Demet. They're using her. And it's time to see her for what she is, a person and a professional, not as the piece everyone rearranges to fit their own story.